Very pleasant good morning, everybody. Welcome to the show. Sorry for the late start there. Lubie and I were discussing some business strategies here. And then on top of that, I'm having kind of a wild morning and a wild extension of yesterday, wow, going to be moving in a couple of weeks, actually. I have to be out of here, at least my place to somebody for a very reasonable sum. And so I'm excited about that. And it's in conjunction with a lot of separation and the old idea of moving on here, getting divorced, and many other things whirling around in my personal world. All for the better. I mean, as the Joe Bonamassa song says, I'll be moving on. And there's nothing wrong with that. You always want to be making progress in this life if you can do it. Get busy living or get busy dying, that kind of philosophy. But I can't believe what a hustle moving is. It's pretty incredible. Now, I'm lucky. I don't have to move any furniture in the arrangement that I've made. And I found a place that is just perfectly suitable for that because all I need to bring there is my toothbrush and I'll be okay, and the clothes. And it's right up the street. So my lifestyle doesn't change. It's affordable. And I'm feeling pretty good about that. But then all of the red tape starts to come in. I was going to say blue ribbon, but it's purely red tape, and it's all asinine, and it's all a hustle. You get the background check, which here, look, I own a place. It's got a ton of equity in it by any standard, so it's not like I'm destitute or broke. And just a question: the market was a little cold, and if this arrangement works out as I hope it will, then the final conclusion will be we're selling the place to the woman that's coming in here, which
Nice.
would be great. No realtor involved, no commissions, no nothing. So puts another 30 some odd $1,000 in the pocket
Yeah.
at the end of the road there, and it'll be a perfect time to cash out. But I had to file some hokey background check where I used Lubie and Andy as a reference. I was thinking, most of the people I would use as a reference would probably say, just joking around, say, "Oh no, man, I wouldn't rent to that asshole."
Problem. Yes, I would get a random call and at least go, "Yes, that Jeff DeForest is a fine gentleman. He's extremely responsible, and you'd be stupid to not give him a chance to brighten your day and your building's
Yeah,
experience for one and all." Yeah, I mean,
most of my friends, if they
yeah,
picked up the phone, would be likely to say, "Hey, listen, if you collect any money off this guy up front,
exactly.
give me the 12 grand that he owes me."
Oh, that's Jeff DeForest. Yeah, next time we talk to him, tell him I want my $500.
That beat MFer. So then, I've owned this place for the last 5 years, so I had no reason to try and list.
The
And
rest is
I'm going to be taking one of my two dogs here, and the little dog Holly is a sweetheart. She doesn't do anything. Just kind of clings to me and is happy. You feed her, and she couldn't be any more of a delight. Doesn't mess anything up. Doesn't tear up anything. Doesn't chew on anything. She's fantastic. But to rent a place, you have to have her registered as an emotional support animal (ESA),
a
and
lot of
that's a total farce. What a hustle!
a lot of them. Yeah.
So I didn't realize that she wasn't already registered. I thought the soon-to-be ex had told me that she already had the paperwork done on this, and that she was getting it from a friend of hers. And instead, I had to go last night online and apply for her to be an emotional support animal, which is total BS. So you have to paint a picture of yourself as if you're crazy. I mean, if you answer the questions in a fashion that isn't in conjunction with what the requirements are, you have to pretend that you're having mental health issues, which I'm not really. I mean,
Well, and it also seems counterproductive. Like, so you want to tell people that you want to rent a place from that are giving you hoops to jump from that you're also crazy? Like, why would that be better?
exactly. Like I look like I'm a sugar and a nut bag based on
Why
this
would,
application to register my dog as an emotional support animal when all they had to do is meet the dog, right?
yeah, it's a little dog. It's not doing anything. It's not tearing up carpets and
Does
ruining
nothing.
the doors. Like, it's a
Yeah.
little dog.
She doesn't pee on the floor. I mean, she's fine. So anyway, this was my favorite part of the whole process, and it was just a straight up hustle to beat you out of $140, which is what it cost me to get this registration. The letter comes immediately, like you're almost immediately certified. They haven't seen the dog. They didn't ask for a picture of the dog. Nothing. But after I sent in the application, it said you may be contacted by a Dr. Hansen who would maybe have some additional questions for you.
What place
So
is this? I've never heard. I do real estate. I've never heard of any of this. What place? What is going on in this place that they have to have doctors contacting
it's,
possible clientele?
doing his business here. Hang on here. Well, and this was one of like a zillion of them. It's out of Las Vegas, okay? So they never meet you. There's nobody does any psychological exam. I've had this before where I was renting a place and I
Oh,
had
oh, this is for the okay. So this is for the emotional support
certification.
paperwork.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
You have to get a letter to say, hey, this dog's an emotional support animal, absolutely necessary, and that supersedes any restrictions they might have at certain places that are rentals for requirements about having an animal there. So they can't deny you living or renting the place and bringing your dog over there if it's registered as an emotional support animal. So anyway, I actually get a text from this Dr. Hansen, who I'm assuming is nowhere near. I mean, anywhere. I mean, these applications have to be landing in some boiler room in Las Vegas, no? And they're just picking up $150 every time that somebody has to apply to go and register their dog in this fashion, so that they can rent a place. I mean, imagine what kind of business this is. I immediately am inundated after I make this application by solicitations from like 30 other places of this type. And finally, I get a text from Dr. Hansen, whoever this Dr. Hansen is, and he's asking me to provide more details about why I need this emotional support animal.
Oh, so they're trying to act like it's not a racket.
Well, I would imagine this is just to be in compliance with whatever regulations, in case they have to show something later on that they actually did some kind of examination to determine whether or not it was legit that the animal was necessary for you to have. So I'm all assuming is to cover their ass because essentially what they're doing, it's like when you do the drive-through marriage in Las Vegas. I mean, are they really taking time to vet out, any of the background of the two people? No, nothing. I don't know that you really need any kind of background to get a marriage license because clearly any idiot can do that. I've done
Yeah,
it
yeah.
3 times.
You just
So,
have to do it. It takes time, and you have to spend money and get a license. Yes.
I write this very heartfelt text back to Dr. Hansen about how necessary it is to calm my anxieties, which in reality, the dog creates more anxiety than
100%.
solves. Because even this morning, I'm up and down the stairs like 100 times here just to take care of these two dogs. Which and that's while you're trying to get ready to do a show, which I did prepare some material here for, but we're probably not going to get to much of it because we do have the professor coming on. We want to get into the college basketball tournaments and what's coming up in the NCAA, and of course a big board. But no. Bottom line of all of it, Lubie, total ripoff. I get a text back from Dr. Hansen saying, and I was assuming this would be no problem getting this approval since they already took my money. And so he says, okay, I'm going to go ahead and approve your application. Your letter should be forthcoming in the next day, 24 hours. And he suggests to me that I continue my mental health care.
Yes, doc. Going to the track and
Hey,
having my
thanks.
beer
You've been very helpful.
and
What
going
kind
to
of crap, Luby, has this world come to? My God.
I don't know. We've been lucky enough to own our last two places, so no, there was an association that sort of sucked at our townhouse,
Yeah.
but animal wise,
I think I had to register both dogs as emotional support animals to get them both in here.
they
'Cause you're
didn't.
only allowed one dog in this joint.
They didn't do that at our place. Like you supposed to had to pay a fee, but I don't know if anyone ever did, and you got away
Oh,
with it. And
yeah,
here's
there's
how
always a fee involved. There's never a time there's not a fee involved.
that was
'Cause
like a
it
dog's fee. I don't know this, and
just
we
a
have a house now, so thank God.
yeah. Oh, no, good. I mean, yeah, the homeowners association, I'm pretty sure required this, but so that was part of my day and part of my morning is dealing with that. And then I was looking at this, Luby. How many times did we have to do this? It was more common for me back in the day when I was closely associated. I mean, I still approach this as if I was an independent and unbiased journalist. But when you're working with people constantly, you develop some kind of an affinity for them. And I don't know that they were doing anything that was particularly evil, but when the University of Miami was constantly under probe and probation for various unscrupulous acts, I don't know if unscrupulous is the right word, various acts that were in violation of what you would consider to be any code of student ethics. that were being committed by the football team, i.e., they throw that. Remember when they threw that track guy off the third-story balcony of one of the dormitories? And
I don't know if they threw him, but yes, that was allegedly what was being rumored to have happened. Something of that nature. Yes.
to put it gently, there was a lot of shit going on.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
So now the justification, and I believe this to be true. I mean, we don't say things on the show that we don't believe to be true. But I do believe this to be true. The rationalization and the justification was, and look, we saw this. I think it's to a much lesser degree if you're talking about a basketball team and Rick Pitino. When Rick Pitino made the claim that he had no idea what was going on in those dormitories, where they were literally running hookers, throughout the freshman dormitory for the basketball team. There were probably only 5 guys on scholarship on the freshman, on the freshman side on any basketball team. Maybe a few more now because freshmen can play, but it was hard to imagine that he had no knowledge whatsoever of what was going on. What would you say? That's a fair statement, Louis. That I mean, to just say, "Hey, I had no idea this was happening." These are control freaks. These guys, they
We
remember
talked about
every
that.
detail about everything that ever happened for the last 50 years of their coaching career. We've remarked on that many times, how incredible it is.
This is
So it's
hilarious.
hard to believe that a coach would have no idea what was going on at the University of Louisville while all of this stuff was just
We've
rampaging.
always, and that's why I'm bringing him on. This is
Yeah.
real help. We've always said that. It's funny again, and we like
You guys
Pitino.
are trying to get me into trouble with your viewers who are actually so like friendly with these people. You bring me on for a segment on
I
whether
didn't bring you on, but it just to leave you waiting in the wings to talk
you
about this.
bring me on for a segment of whether Restaurant Ricky knew about the whole.
Yeah, and of course he did.
I mean,
look,
come on,
this is
man.
what I'm
But they
saying.
always know, right? Like the coaches always know, or
Like,
they don't know on
This
purpose.
is actually
Don't tell me. Don't tell me.
You know, it's funny because, of course, Lou Holtz kicked the bucket a couple days ago.
you were
Um,
particularly
And Mayo wants to defend this sack of crap who it's like, well, I met him a couple of times. He was a nice guy. Oh, yeah, right. The guy who got fired from the University of Arkansas because he endorsed Jesse Helms. The guy, which is, you're basically saying you're too racist for the state of Arkansas. But
All right,
for
so-
some reason with these guys, we want to pretend like, oh no, he probably didn't know because they're all good. No, they will do anything to win.
yes, yes.
Like, I mean, look, we all admire John Wooden and in terms of the way he actually
mentioned this
dealt with the kids.
Yeah.
He's certainly a very admirable man with the pyramid of success and wanting his players to graduate. But if you have a lick of common sense, yes, you know he and Sam Gilbert were buying players for like 30 years. I mean,
Yeah.
come on.
I was telling a story yesterday. My friend Alan Greenberg, who I went to Syracuse with, and we actually eventually we didn't share a girlfriend at the same time, but I think he became this particular woman's boyfriend right after I had separated the relationship or had broken off, and we remained friends. I used to see him, and he ended up writing for the LA Times, and he was the guy that did this whole big thing. When it was just unfathomable that anybody would question the integrity of the Wizard about Sam Gilbert and how some of these players just somehow sauntered their way to Los Angeles, even though Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, then Lou
Exactly. At a
didn't even
time
want to
in
leave the
America,
house.
in a time in America where every college player was a dude who was from like around the corner.
Yeah.
Like if you went to a school more than 50 miles away, it was like you were a big recruit. He was
Exactly.
getting players from like around the country. Come on.
No doubt, yeah.
Come on.
And,
Look,
the articles, if you go back and research them, I mean, it was a brilliant expose of what was going on, and people still wanted to look away and say, "No, I mean, this is
I don't want to
our imagination."
take away from John Wooden's or anybody else's, accomplishments as a coach. Obviously, just look at the titles. Obviously, if not the greatest college basketball coach of all time, on the very, very short list. Same with Rick Pitino. But like anybody who fools themselves that these guys won't do anything to win. And as Defo said just before I came on, the ultimate in control freaks.
Yes,
Like,
Yes, that's my problem. They want to say have both ways. They really control the program. Oh, but they didn't know. You can't have both ways.
well,
Like,
and
right.
the point of all this, so
and Ratface, yeah, it was just a coincidence that every great player had majored in religion. They all came to Duke wanting to be priests
Yeah.
or
It's a
Dean
noble
Smith
endeavor.
and Roy Williams with the African American Studies program at North Carolina. Yeah, they were all African American Studies scholars. Come on, dude.
All right, so getting back to my days, of covering and I remember there were some assertions that Butch Davis should have had more control over the program or whatever, and we used to sort of justify it once in a while, and I believe this to be true that when you're running a football program and there's like 100 guys on the team, maybe you don't know that some guy is doing something that is outside the parameters and guidelines of what would be considered good taste and in compliance with the rules. That's possible. Okay, you may not be able to control every situation. Once you become aware of it, obviously you would like to see it eradicated and see a coach actually take a stand and say, hey, that's not happening anymore. This guy's gone. That wasn't necessarily going on, but we used to sort of have like a gray area justification that it would be impossible to know everything as a head coach of a football team.
Okay, let's bring up the one exception. The one exception I do believe who may not have known, and it wasn't Butch Davis, but it was Hurricanes national championship coach Dennis Erickson. And the reason he didn't know is because he was drunk 75% of the time. And when he wasn't drunk,
believe me, Dennis is my man. So
and when he wasn't drunk, he was out of town taking NFL interviews. Because I mean, look, in some ways, I actually think Dennis Erickson was the most honest of them, because I'm only here to get a high-paying NFL job, and in the meantime, I'm just going to drink myself retarded every night. Like,
I have a soft spot in my heart for Dennis. Well, when he called me one day while I was doing a radio show opposite the Super Bowl on WIOD, and I'm sitting there just yammering away, and I was relatively new to the whole thing at the time in terms of having a full-time spot. And and obviously I'm working on a Sunday afternoon opposite the Super Bowl doing a talk show, and all of a sudden one line rings, and I didn't care if it was a death threat. I was taking the call. And who was it? It was Dennis Erickson, and he says, "I happened to be riding around. I was just at something, and no doubt a party, and I heard you dying on the air there, DeForest. So if you want to shoot the crap for like an hour, I'm there for you." And I thought, you know what? I don't care what they say, Dennis. You're always going to have a soft spot in my heart. But what I was going to get to is just this whole business of yesterday, Donald Trump stating, as he fired Kristi Noem, who, I mean, being any more of a sack of human excrement than this woman has been, shooting a dog and bragging about it as if it was going to establish that she was capable of making tough decisions.
Cricket. The dog's name was Cricket.
Yeah, and the cricket's about that coming from the Trump administration. But nonetheless, I mean, that she was there in the first place already an atrocity, like many of the Trump cabinet members. But for Trump to say that he had no idea, this is very much like these coaches. I just saw the parallel there, that she had spent $220 million on a self-flagellation ad campaign about how wonderful it was. When did you? It's just like FP&L advertising. Where the F else are you going to go to get electricity? And I need to advertise. Does the Department of Homeland Security need to run ads? I mean, well, if you're an illegal immigrant and you're hiding right now somewhere in an outpost in Minnesota, just turn yourself in. We'll give you.
The answer is yes. They did have to run ads, and they were mostly recruiting ads to get the dumbest hillbillies who had been kicked off of every police and security guard job they had ever had for being too violent to come work for ICE, because nobody wanted to work for ICE. I mean, so yeah, in some way, I don't know if you remember this, but this was probably last year's NCAA tournament where every sporting event on television was flooded with, "Are you a moron? Do you like to shoot guns?
Yes.
Come work for ICE and we'll give you a 50,000." I mean, like, the whole pitch of the ads was like, "Are you too stupid and violent to work anywhere else?
$220 million of taxpayer
If so, come work for ICE and we'll give you a $50,000 bonus."
But Trump, especially, who watches and reacts to TV like no other president we've ever seen. I mean, he's watching everything. He's watching the Grammys. He's watching Jimmy Kimmel. He's watching Colbert. He's watching any award ceremony that takes place. He's watching the Winter Olympics. And he never saw any of these ads and said,
"By the way, I love that
where are those coming from?"
I love that Skippy is so fired up when we're talking about Kristi Noem.
Yeah, she's like, "Get that lady out of here."
He thought he saw her walking outside.
But since we
there
were
was
on
a gun
these
pointed in
topics,
the window. Yeah.
but since we were on these topics, I'm glad, because we have a fun new one to talk about that just came out yesterday. and that is that Lubie and I's favorite Nazi running for governor in the state of Florida, James Fishback.
Was he back again at your
He's
church?
never had any other rallies. They've had no other rallies.
No, he did. He had another rally in Jacksonville earlier this week.
Lovin' Oven
as part of his Waffle House tour. And I didn't watch it, but apparently he said something so offensive that Waffle House has now banned him from ever coming into Waffle House again.
Oh my God!
This
really says something about you as a human being that you managed to get banned by the Waffle House. Let's remember, the Waffle House is an establishment that built their empire on the idea that truckers needed a place with good hash browns and safe bathrooms to come in and sell meth and traffic prostitutes. Like that is the founding ideal of the Waffle House restaurant chain. And you somehow managed to come and get banned. I have seen people so drunk at 3 o'clock in the morning at Waffle House that they pulled down their pants and took a dump in the middle of the floor of the Waffle House. And they didn't get banned. Like, I got to know what the hell you said or did at this rally to get banned from the freaking Waffle House. Honestly, you could bring strippers nude to Waffle House at 4 o'clock in the morning and nobody cares.
Oh, would you like more
coffee? You can start brawls at the Waffle House and nobody cares.
Don't care.
There's basically nothing you could do at a Waffle House that's going to get you banned from the Waffle House. But this guy managed to do it somehow. Like, I got to say, if you are James Fishback, or you are more importantly one of these retards that are supporting James Fishback. Sorry, I know I'm not supposed to use that word, but I think in this case it applies.
Idiots.
Let me do the disclaimer. Those are the folks who can alone, the professor.
I'm just saying, you have to look in the mirror and ask yourself, like, we just got banned from the Waffle House.
Yes, no, it's bad.
We just got banned from the place. It is impossible to get banned.
Yeah, it's Waffle House. They don't care.
So,
we just
anyway, how do these people not know? That's the question.
Yeah, of course.
How do you not know that? I mean, you're watching TV. You can't miss these ads. Dumpsters like, oh no, I didn't know.
Knows and
all right, college hoops.
I mean, look.
Let's do it.
We don't know how much these people are actually paying attention to any of this.
That's the thing. So maybe they don't know, but it's not better.
We've been trying to establish this, Professor. And I know Lubie mentioned that you and he had a private conversation about this or discussed this, which was kind of cool. But I'm trying to look. Nobody likes anybody that says, "Well, I really think I got the solution here. I got the winner of this race," and they give you the 3 to 5 shot. Can we get back to chalk in this upcoming NCAA tournament? Talking about maybe the top 5 or 6 teams. Is there anyone? No. Okay.
Honestly, I would love to sit here and say, yeah, I got the team. Are there some teams statistically are on the edge? Yeah, but it's all situations where, for one reason or another, it's falling apart. Like Texas Tech, currently ranked number 10. On a nice roll since Toppin got hurt, or were until they lost to TCU a couple nights ago. But their best player got hurt and is out for the season.
They're not going to win the tournament.
I can look at their statistical, and Iowa State's another great example. Like, I can look at their statistical and their Ken Pom profile and say, yeah, they're right on the edge of being able to go all the way. But then you look at them, they had the 3-game run against ranked teams, and they lost all of them. And then the last one looked completely offensively incompetent against Arizona. So if you take it to the top 4 or top 5, I'm not saying they're all going to get to the Final Four like last year, but one of them is going to win the national title. And honestly, right at the moment, it looks like Duke or Florida is just about an inevitability to win it all. Could I make a case for Arizona? Sure. Could I make a case for Michigan? Yes, but it's much more difficult after their point guard got, injured for the year last Friday night. So, basically what are we looking at? We're looking at another year where Kelvin Sampson is somehow the good guy.
No stretch of the imagination there.
Right. Look, there's a lot of teams, in that mid group, in Illinois, Gonzaga, maybe even a UVA, where I can sit there and say, well, if everything goes right, but we also know the thing about the NCAA tournament is nobody ever gets the if everything goes right.
Yeah, it's a tournament.
There's always a game or two where you can't shoot to save your life, or the other team can't miss, and you have to overcome it. And right at the moment, and interestingly, because really it's length of defense. If you're looking for holes, Florida doesn't shoot the three very well. Duke is very young. And honestly, that's increasingly as the season goes along. That's pretty much the excuse me. It's pretty much the only hole Duke has, unfortunately. But I mean, in terms of the way they're playing headed into March, those two are absolute buzzsaws, and pretty much everybody else, largely because of injuries, looks like they have a notable flaw headed into it's also a weird year in that I should note, like, tons of these teams that are sort of fringe contenders have all caught like a huge wave of injuries in February. So I think Barack Obama's going, since we're talking about politics, Barack Obama is going to be very pleased because it is going to be a chalk-eating pig of a tournament.
All right, we have some of the smaller conferences underway with their tournaments, and of course, we do have some reasonably interesting regular season concluding games in some of the major conferences, including actually going to be a guest on a Louisville radio station today, and I couldn't even understand what it was they wanted from me because I get a text message. I thought maybe it was about 4 months old. And I see, hey, can you come on today and break down Louisville versus Miami for us? I'm thinking, really? What the hell are they talking about? And I guess they meet in the final regular season game in the ACC conference play coming up on Saturday at here in Miami. And I would have no idea, so I'm gonna lean on you for that breakdown later on today, Professor, so I don't look like an ass. But nonetheless, anything that you're seeing in the smaller conference tournaments that we can make some money on, and
we do actually. And honestly, I love the smaller conference tournaments because you get some opportunities. Number one, as we all know, I love nothing more than sports in the middle of the afternoon. That is my absolute favorite thing.
I like it early in the morning. I like it at 5 in the morning also, like British.
We get a lot of those matchups today, and we got a few favorable looks, for a Friday afternoon. So we really have to get it. And we'll start at 3:30, which is University of Illinois, Chicago, going to Murray State, laying 1.5. These two teams played like 2 weeks ago, and Murray State handled them pretty well. Only laying 1.5 here. No notable injuries coming into the game. Last matchup, Murray State won by 7, but they were up by 10 or 15 plus for most of the game, and Chicago closed late. So obviously looking at Murray State. Then we've got in the Atlantic Sun quarterfinal, Lipscomb and Florida Gulf Coast, FGCU. The bad news for FGCU is they played this team twice, and they got blown out twice. So like Lipscomb minus the 4.5 here. Let's see, going on through the afternoon. Was this the other one I liked? Give me 1 second. No, it is not. Sorry. Oh, and then we get into what is not a conference tournament game, but a conference regular season clash with VCU and Dayton. Dayton at home trying to really play their way onto the bubble. I don't know that Dayton can play their way into the NCAA tournament with a win here, but they can probably keep themselves on the bubble. Bad news is this is a terrible matchup for Dayton. These teams played just 2 weeks ago, and VCU won by 23. Oh, excuse me, by 26 just a couple weeks ago. So like VCU plus the points there, Dayton just does not seem to match up well at all with the tournament. And then that takes us to the ranked matchup, which of course are number one, your beloved Rick Pitino, playing for seeding at Seton Hall, team that seems to be reeling down the stretch here, not feeling well. They've lost 2 of their last 4, and I believe it is 4 or 5 of their last 7. St. John's laying 4.5 on the road. St. John's seems to have bounced back from that beating from Connecticut. So I'm not sure how I feel about St. John's right at the moment, but I definitely like him over a Seton Hall team that is stumbling to the line, trying to make their way into the NCAA tournament. And that takes us to Miami of Ohio, playing Ohio to finish their undefeated season. Still, if you listen to Bruce Pearl, a Miami of Ohio team that may be on the bubble if they lose any game. I happen to be they should be in the tournament already group, but there's still some debate about them. Good news for Miami of Ohio is this is a team you handled easily earlier in the year at 5.5. So we are becoming chalk eating pigs today and taking a bunch of favorites, although mostly small favorites, and going with Lipscomb. Currently laying, I'm seeing 4.5 here. Murray State laying 1.5. VCU is our one underdog, plus 1.5. Although that just clicked up to 2 on my line, so you'll have to keep your.
As soon as you mention it,
it's moving in our way, so I guess they're going against us. And then Miami of Ohio and St. John's both laying. Miami of Ohio laying 5.5. St. John's laying 4.5. So
very nicely.
A 5-pack for Friday. Lots of degenerate action on Friday. You got to love that.
Very good. Okay. Professor.
And as far as Miami and Louisville, two teams seemingly go the other way. Louisville looked really bad over the last couple of weeks, whereas Miami's kind of got it rolling. Combine that with the home court. I don't have a number in front of me for that, but I'm assuming it'll be like 4.5 or 5, and I would take the Hurricanes in that spot. Louisville is really stumbling to the finish line here.
Surprisingly, and I don't know who's generating this stuff, but a couple of the handicappers that I saw as I was trying to find some analysis on this game were giving Louisville the larger percentage of a chance to win straight up, which, is this game of any great incentive for them?
No, they're in the dance. I guess it's for seeding.
Yeah. Because Miami looks sharp right now. Any number of impressive victories over the last several weeks, including winning as many regular season games. They have a chance to eclipse their all-time record for accumulating regular season wins. So they've been fairly remarkable. And yet, outside of the little research that I did over the last several hours, I couldn't have named you 2 guys on the team.
Well, again, I don't have a number, so it would depend on the points. So I guess it could come in higher than expected. But assuming you get the 4.5 or 5 that I would expect, I would lean definitely towards Miami.
All right, very good. All right, that brings us to the moment of truth here on the program. We always look forward to this, one of the great segments anywhere in the video streaming world, and we really enjoy having a professor do this for us every week. And that would be this week's big board, which I would imagine you could dive into any number of areas for. So we
didn't want to start to do March Madness. We wanted to save that for next week when we get into the conference tournaments and a little bit more heavy. And, of course, we will have some things to say, likely about the Ivy League champion when it comes to March Madness. But we'll hold that for a week. And we wanted to get into one of our favorite, or my favorite subject. I shouldn't say our, like collectively big book, because I don't know how you guys feel about it, but my favorite subjects, which is, of course, the NFL draft. I am a draft head. Right. I know it makes me the worst nerd in all of sports radio, the guy who wants to talk about the combine and the projections and everything else. But I love the NFL draft. And one of the things I love about the NFL draft is how weird and stupid teams get trying to figure out every psychological angle of these football players. And we thought we would review on this week the big board of the dumbest and weirdest NFL draft interviews. Look, these always leak to the media. Yes. To me, they're always hysterical. But, there's nothing I enjoy more than poking and prodding these guys who have probably not thought about anything but football for the last 4 years of their lives.
Who was the guy that Jeff Ireland asked,
Please don't stop. Oh, that is one of the slides.
Oh, okay. That's gotta be one of them.
I didn't know.
That is the single most famous one. I'll tell you right now.
I know all of it. I
just previewed number 1 right there.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, okay. So I thought it was going to be just this year.
You went on to be a great player.
There we go.
Let's start with number 5, which is one of my personal favorites and was apparently asked to one team asked this to every prospect during the 2017 draft, and it all got leaked to Mike Freeman, who refused to name the team that was doing it, but was told by several players that one of the questions given to every player was, "Are you afraid of clowns?" Now, supposedly this was the Atlanta Falcons. And at the time, let's remember, post-Michael Vick, Atlanta was losing their minds as a franchise. They didn't want to jump right into the so do you fight dogs question. So they started it with, are you afraid of clowns? And the answer is, of course I'm afraid of clowns. If I'm more worried about the guy who says he's not afraid of clowns. Like if you haven't, I don't care if it's like a defensive tackle or like the largest, scariest. If he says he's not afraid of clowns, you need to check not him for guns, not his car for guns, but did he bring a gun to the interview? Because that's the only way you're not scared of clowns is if you actually have a gun on you at all times. Which, by the way, to circle back to an earlier story, I've actually seen a human being bring 6 guns into a Waffle House, and nobody worried about it.
But clown rock.
I'm not even joking. This guy had a shotgun slung across his back like he was Mad Max, waiting for the zombies to show up. And it was like, oh, yeah, that's just Fred. You know,
That's just Fred. Hey, Fred.
Dude's got 6 guns.
Useful, Fred? Yeah.
Dude's got 6 guns. What's he supposed to do? Leave him in the car? Somebody might steal
Duh,
him.
he's going to bring him in. I mean, he's going to take his guns.
His most valuable possession.
But yes, if you are interviewing a player and he says he's not scared of clowns, like I'm much more worried about the NFL player who tells me he's not scared of clowns. Everybody's scared of clowns.
That's classic. And it would be the first question. I think that was the first question when I got interviewed at 940 Wins the last time around. Are you afraid of clowns? And I said yes, because most program directors would fall into the category. All right, that's number 5. Number 4.
That takes us to number 4, which is a team famous for their interview process. In fact, Deion Sanders has told stories about refusing to interview them because he told them, like, yeah, I'm not going to be there when you pick anyway, so I'm not going to bother with you. And that is number 4, the New York Giants, who at one point had a 434 question long personality test that Plaxico Burress literally fell asleep in the middle of.
Great picture to go along.
They have since shortened it, by the way, to a 250 question personality test. But it's interesting that the dude fell asleep in the middle of the personality test, and they drafted him anyway. I guess that means that really what the Giants were looking for was for you to pass out from exhaustion during the middle of their 434
if you don't fall asleep, you must be on drugs.
Personality test.
No meth concerns.
They're like, if you're staying awake, something's wrong with you.
I love the picture.
I don't know what this is supposed to be. You're 434 questions long. You're an NFL draft for a first-round prospect, and you're supposed to subject yourself to this. I think they were honestly looking for people like, no, I'm not answering that. Go screw yourself. 434 questions.
If you didn't refuse, they weren't drafted.
Yes, those that finished, like, okay, you're insane.
Sure.
But, speaking of knowing or not knowing, when LT actually took the 434 question long part, they probably should have known about the cocaine.
Yes, exactly.
Honestly.
Yeah.
They probably should have been like, yeah, this one likes the coke. He stayed wide awake for this whole questionnaire.
You need a bump, yeah. All right, that's
I mean, and honestly, this was during the Bill Parcells days. Like, I can't picture Bill Parcells himself taking a 434 question long personality test.
Impossible to conceive of. All right, number 4. Number 3.
Number 3 is, what teams do you like to play on Madden? And supposedly,
shut up.
Nearly every team in the NFL asks this question.
Oh.
Now, and again, I can sort of get it because as we've demonstrated here, like Madden at this point is as complicated as playing quarterback in the NFL. And there's probably some things you can learn about passing concepts and route trees and everything like that. Like in this one, the hot guys running the far corner. Like, I get it. Like, there's probably some things you can learn. But I feel like, as somebody who has played Madden and seen hundreds of people play Madden, if you're an NFL franchise, you are just begging to get your feelings hurt.
Yes,
for most franchises. Because the whole thing about Madden is everybody wants to play with the one of the 3 teams that has the best running quarterback. And this has been since the dawn of Madden. This has been since I was playing Madden in like the early 1990s, and there were fist fights over who got to be Philadelphia because you had Randall Cunningham and you could run around. It is well known that the best player in the history of Madden is like 2001, 2002 Michael Vick, because you could just run around and never stop him. He's fast. I guarantee when they ask this question now, everybody says Baltimore because you got Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson.
Yeah,
like Nobody's playing like the Seahawks just won the Super Bowl, and they're never once getting. Oh yeah, I love to play Seattle when I'm mad.
Yeah, there's no way.
Because it's no fun to play Sam goddamn Darnold at
if you're the Jets, who is going to say, I love playing as the Jets?
Like, I feel like if you're not one of like 3 or 4 NFL, if you're not like the Bills and the Chiefs and Baltimore, like you're just begging to get your feelings hurt when you ask this question.
If you're the Browns,
like if you're the Seahawks, you're like, oh, we just won the Super Bowl and nobody wants to play us on Madden.
No, you're boring. You don't have anything fun.
That's number 3. Number 2.
Absolutely, like just you're begging for
That's a stupid question.
Number 2, and honestly, this was the most inevitable person who was going to show this. If you had told me before I even started researching this, give me one person who asks stupid questions that you guarantee will be on my list, it would, of course, been Dan Campbell, who, according to Desmond Ritter was basically considered the number 2 quarterback, is lactose intolerant, and Dan Campbell asked him to drink a glass of milk in front of him because he wanted to see how he handled playing in pain.
What if you die, though? Like some actual allergy.
That could have easily been number 1, Professor.
I know lactose intolerance, you just gas, but like,
it's not always just gas. Sometimes it's gas and poop. Like, again,
oh, Jesus.
Who wants that in an interview?
Drink this glass of milk because I want to see you finish this interview while you have a raging case of diarrhea, is basically what he's saying.
Can't you be arrested for that?
What are you doing?
Again, if there
why not
was
just
any
a cyanide tab while you're at it?
If there was any human being who was going to show up on this interview list, it was absolutely Dan Campbell.
Yeah.
And honestly, look how it turns out, because he probably injures half of his defensive players during the interview. He probably told Aiden Hutchinson, put your hand out because I want to see how you answer questions while I smash your hand with a hammer. Honestly, it was probably like that scene in Casino where De Niro catches the cheater. Dan Campbell's you can either take the saw and be our first-round draft pick, or you could just leave now and we're not going to draft you.
That's hard to top, although I guess we
Of
already
course
revealed where this is going.
And number 1, blown by default.
Sorry, but I really thought you were just doing.
Everyone remembers this.
Yeah.
Pretty much everybody knows this all time. Is, of course,
Oklahoma State's great. Des Bryant.
Jeff Ireland asking Des Bryant, was your mother a prostitute? Which, now supposedly, there are all sorts of stories about the reason Jeff Ireland asked this question. And the one Jeff Ireland has, or not officially stuck to, but sort of floated to the press over the years, was that he asked Des Bryant what his father did for a living. And Des Bryant said, my father was a pimp. And what did your mother do? My mother worked for my father. So was your mother a prostitute? Is kind of a natural follow-up question.
Yes.
But this is the question you don't ask any grown man. Yeah. Like, I think, honestly, it goes over better if you ask if his wife is a prostitute than if his mother was a prostitute. Honestly. Like, even if you're just intellectually curious, you don't ask this.
No, you can't. No.
Like, this is the most insane question in the history of NFL draft interviews. Jeff Ireland, Miami Dolphins GM, was your mother a prostitute?
He was a classic, Ireland. How many years was he the GM here? I still love that Hard Knocks when he walked into Joe Philbin and told him about how he had just traded away his cornerback, and Joe was like, "Oh yeah, okay."
I would have enjoyed this particular question more if it turns out that he asked everybody that.
Yeah, if he asked that standard.
That should have been the number 1 question on any list. Yeah.
That's your mother.
When he interviewed with Stephen Ross, he should have said, "Hey, Steve, let me ask you a question. Is your mother a prostitute?"
Was Ireland the one who interviewed John Beck coming out of BYU? Did he ask the BYU kid, "Was your mother a hooker?" Like, that would have been that would have been an interesting one.
I would imagine the answer would have been no. Or
you presume.
I would presume Des Bryant's answer was no.
Yes.
But again, the whole point of this is just a question you do not ask.
No, obviously not.
I mean, in some ways, this is actually worse than Dan Campbell trying to get the lactose intolerant player to drink a glass of milk in front of him.
I don't know.
I want to see.
That's just painful.
I want to see how you do when you're uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, the Campbell one, I might have even put that ahead of Ireland. This stupid question.
You're trying to risk someone's health.
Well, we generally frame the big board so that number 2 is the funniest one of all.
Yeah. I mean,
not to pull people behind the curtain, but that's kind of the structure. Normally, we save number 1 for a Ben Affleck joke, but Ben Affleck, as far as I know, has never been part of
There's
an
a pile
NFL
of
interview
formaldehyde.
process.
Would you care to gargle with this before we continue the interview? All right, excellent stuff as always, Professor. I know you're excited about all of this basketball activity that's going on.
I mean, I'm less excited than normally because, again, probably Duke or Florida is going to win the freaking tournament. But, yes, I do love this time of year.
Oh, and I don't remember. Did I send you the link for today for the other show?
Yes, you did.
Okay, good. All right, we're on top of our game then. All right, well, we'll talk to you in a few minutes on a little Barrier Bookie on nofilter.net. Professor, always a pleasure, my friend. Brilliant as always. And Lubie, good job today. And we'll see you later on out at Gulfstream Park.
Yes, sir.
It'll be a lot of fun. And for Mike Lubie-Lewitz, Professor, I'm Jeff DeForest. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you Monday, the next edition of the Defo Show, as we leave you know that.
The time.
And as everybody can see, since Monday, Skippy is very much...
He's doing well, that Skip.
got smart again.
I love it.
My other dog, the one I needed the certification for, dead quiet. Unbelievable.
Well, there you go.
All right. It's now that the time is, 9:02. Did we do that thing? Throw a little Johnny in there just for fun.
The time.
It's 9:02.
Let's go eat a damn snack.
Look what they brought.